Millions of moms-to-be take a prenatal vitamin every day. The labels say things like satisfaction guaranteed, quality assured, and for a healthy pregnancy. But what we discovered that's not on the label is lead, a heavy metal the CDC and World Health Organization say can be hazardous to a developing baby.
I mean, it's shocking. It's so disturbing because as doctors, we tell all of our patients, take your vitamins, take your vitamins.
UCLA's Dr. Stephanie Canali is especially tuned into this issue. She founded a first-of-its-kind lab to test breast milk for deficiencies and contaminants, giving moms important information. But contaminants from prenatal vitamins weren't even on her radar until we told her what we found.
My first reaction was, let me see that, because it's so high, everyone has to be off by a decimal point here at least.
But the numbers aren't off. We partnered with Ellipse Analytics, which tested more than 220 brands. A separate independent lab, Eurofins, confirmed what Ellipse found. Results were across the board, with lead levels in one serving of a prenatal vitamin ranging from just trace amounts to 15 times what the FDA recommends as a limit in apple juice. What does that mean? Leading health organizations have set varying standards for daily exposure to lead, including from drinking water, food, and things like paint and jewelry. Because lead accumulates in your body, scientists say less is best. While what's considered tolerable varies, the CDC, FDA, and World Health Organization all agree there is no known safe level of lead.
When mom is taking a vitamin every day, lead will cross the placenta.
Numerous peer-reviewed studies are calling attention to the issue of fetal lead exposure, including this one from the University of Alberta, Canada. It says the revelation that pregnant women are taking contaminated prenatal vitamins is, quote, sobering indeed, and calls for regulation and oversight.
The animal studies that show that it's not just a one-time exposure, but this chronic, low-dose, consistent exposure of heavy metal toxicity to an infant, in animals it looks like an autistic-like picture. ADHD, behavioral, has neurocognitive consequences.
According to a study cited by the National Institutes of Health, lead is well known to cross the placenta and to accumulate in fetal tissues. Prenatal exposure poses a health threat, particularly to the developing brain. Back to our results. All of the vitamins in our tests fell below the FDA's recommended limit for daily lead exposure. But recent science suggests the FDA's regulations appear to be lagging behind emerging recommendations on food safety. The FDA's current standard for lead has been slashed in half within the last 10 years, and today it is still 25 times higher than the only law in the U.S. designed to protect consumers from lead exposure, California's Prop 65. Prop 65 is designed to warn consumers about products containing chemicals that can cause cancer and reproductive harm. California's limit is 0.5 micrograms of lead per day. 25 of the products in our tests appear to exceed the limit set by California's law and may require a warning label before being sold there. Based on our results, one serving of Nature's Truth prenatal vitamin and mineral formula contained lead nearly double Prop 65's limit. Among the others with the highest amounts of lead in our tests, Vitamin World Prenatal Complex, Best Nest Wellness Mama Bird AM/PM Prenatal Multi Plus, and Mama Bird Prenatal Multi Plus. Again, all of the vitamins we tested fell below the FDA's recommended limit for daily lead exposure.
I think what's happening is some vitamin companies will just buy the raw materials from other countries, like China or India. Who knows what's in those materials, but then it's manufactured in the U.S., so it's implied to be safe.
We asked each of the companies where they source their ingredients from. None answered the question.
It's a bit insidious. You know, as a mom, you think you're doing the best for your baby. And then to discover that what you've been taking every single day to help your unborn baby may be doing the very opposite.
We need to stop sweeping it under the rug and pretending like this doesn't matter.
The test results showed many brands were able to reduce or nearly eliminate lead. One-a-day prenatal gummies, Theranatal Prenatal Complete, Nature's Bounty Essential Prenatal Gummies, and Hello Bello Prenatal plus DHA Gummies had an average of 96 times less lead than the products that didn't perform well. But without these tests, moms-to-be would have a hard time telling the difference. The FDA doesn't review prenatal vitamins for safety and effectiveness before they go to market. The FDA relies on manufacturers to test their own products and only takes action if a dietary supplement is adulterated or misbranded once it's on the shelves.
How many more decades need to go by before we realize this is an issue? And there's an easy fix to this one. Testing, regulation, I mean, it needs to happen now.
The FDA established a task force at the end of 2017 to address the issue, with its initial focus on reducing exposure to babies and children. To date, the group has not initiated new standards or guidelines. The FDA declined an interview, but told us it will, quote, continue to research and evaluate the health effects and dietary exposure to lead. For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
We're talking about something as precious as the future of kids.
We protect our children from contaminants like lead in paint and water, but the Spotlight team discovered it in a place you may least suspect: prenatal vitamins. Although the CDC and World Health Organization have established tolerable levels for daily intake of lead, both agree there is no known safe level of lead exposure. We partnered with Ellipse Analytics, an accredited lab, to perform the first comprehensive testing of prenatal vitamins in more than a decade. Results were across the board, with lead levels in one serving of prenatal vitamins ranging from just trace amounts to 15 times what the FDA recommends as a limit in apple juice. You might be wondering how that's possible. It's because the FDA does not currently review vitamins for safety and effectiveness before they go on the market. The FDA generally takes action on misbranded, adulterated, or dangerous vitamins after they reach the market.
There's no defense that they have to offer here when their moms ingest vitamins that contain detectable levels of lead.
That's where LA City Attorney Mike Feuer comes in.
Because of the retreat by the federal government from active protection of individuals right now, so many times erring on the side of protecting good companies at the expense of consumers, it becomes our obligation.
Feuer and Deputy City Attorney Christina Tucson investigated Rainbow Light prenatal vitamins, which were marketed as free of heavy metals. Turns out they weren't.
When a mom is pregnant, you think really about everything that you're putting into your body, and prenatal vitamins are a very important part of that. That's one of the reasons why I thought that looking into that and making sure when people are making choices, they really are choosing based on what they believe to be the most accurate information, and I think that a consumer wouldn't necessarily know on their own looking at a product.
The levels of lead in Rainbow Light prenatal vitamins fell within the state safety standards, but claims that it didn't contain lead were false. The city attorney's office took that complaint to the company.
It may strike people as a bit surprising, knowing more than 30,000 cases a year go through your office, that you've chosen to focus on a prenatal vitamin company.
It becomes our obligation, I think, as a lawyer, as a mom, as a lawyer, as a dad. People look at these cases and they think, oh, it's just another lawyer's case. This is something much more important than that.
After Feur's office reached out, Rainbow Light quickly changed its advertising and later agreed to a $1.75 million settlement, in part to reimburse consumers.
We could have stopped there. That would have been a victory too. But we wanted to take things a step further, particularly given the inaction of, among others, federal regulators.
Feuer says the biggest accomplishment isn't a dollar amount, it's an action. Rainbow Light has agreed to a meaningful testing regimen to actively reduce lead levels.
This is in a world where there aren't many official standards for prenatal vitamins and lead, and we're looking to be as protective as possible and essentially created a standard here that the company is seeking to adhere to.
Feuer says Rainbow Light could lead the way in getting more companies to test their vitamins, driving consumer confidence with a cleaner product for moms and babies.
This case could lead others to want to emulate what is happening with Rainbow Light because it's good for their bottom line. If what's good for their bottom line also protects moms and developing fetuses, all the better.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.